As the winds of the Sahel shift from a whisper of hope to a roar of defiance, the Alliance of Sahel States has just launched a military maneuver that is sending shockwaves through the halls of global power. In a historic move to reclaim their land and their future, the leaders of Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso have officially mobilized a massive unified force, marking the beginning of what they call the final cleanse of the desert. This isn't just a new battalion on the move, it is a total structural revolution that ignores old borders and ends the era of waiting for foreign permission to defend African soils. Good day, you're watching The Global Observer and I want you to stay right there. Our lead story today examines this massive strategic pivot, the death of the old guard and the high-stakes gamble to end terrorism in West Africa once and for all. To understand why this moment is a game changer, dear viewers, we have to look at the graveyard of past failures. For years, the region relied on something called the G5 Sahel. It was a group of 5 countries backed by heavy funding from the West, but it was like trying to run a marathon while wearing handcuffs. The J5 force was crippled by red tape. Troops were stuck in small sectors. If they chased the terrorists to a border, they had to stop and ask for permit to cross. By the time the paperwork was signed, the enemy was gone. It was a system built for failure, dependent on outside money that kept the region on a leash. But in December 2023, that leash was finally snapped. The G5 is dead, and it is place. The G5 is dead, and in its place stands the AES unified force, a lean, mean, and sovereign machine that doesn't answer to Paris or Washington. Now the AES is taking things to a whole new level. Shockingly, we are talking about a mobilization of 10,000 new troops, bringing the total force to 15,000 elite soldiers. This isn't just about numbers, it's about a unified African-led strategy to reclaim every inch of territory. The biggest difference here is the money. Think of it like this: the old force was a rented car, and the owner could take the keys back at any time. We just went into the automobile. The new AES force is a vehicle they built and paid for themselves. Burkina Faso is using its Patriotic Support Fund. Niger is dipping into the Solidarity Fund. Mali is using its own infrastructure projects to fuel the war efforts. They are funding their own survival. This means no more logistical constraints coming from an ocean way. When Captain Ibrahim Traoré or Assimi Goïta gives an order, the wheels move immediately. This financial independence is the heartbeat of the movement, proving that African dignity cannot be bought or sold for a foreign check. But the real magic is in the command structure. In the past, soldiers were stuck in boxes. Now, the AES headquarters has full operational authority. If a terrorist group hides in the Liptako's Goma area, the triple border zone, these new troops can chase them across all 3 countries without stopping to check a map. It is one army for one people. This is exactly what happened during the Operation Yereko II in early 2025. The 3 nations worked as one first. They didn't just push the enemy back, they neutralized top commanders and seized high-tech gear. They are moving from a reactive posture to a predatory one. They aren't waiting to be hit, they are hunting. They are shifting from defensive stance to a structured offensive campaign aimed at permanently neutralizing threats. However, the road ahead is paved with fire. The enemies of the state know that their time is running out. We are seeing a massive increase in pressure on the capital cities, dear viewers. In January 2026, terrorists even tried to use drones to attack the airport in Niamey. In Mali, the capital Bamako has faced a fuel blockade for months. It is a desperate attempt to starve the lion before it can strike. Burkina Faso, currently one of the countries most affected by terrorism in the world, is the central battlefield. The terrorists are trying to prove that the military leaders cannot protect their citizens. They are using fear as a currency. But the AES answer is no more talk. It is more boots on the ground. By integrating civilian volunteers and advanced assets, they are building a wall that the enemy cannot climb. This new force isn't just about soldiers and guns, it's about cutting the supply lines. Terrorism in the Sahel isn't a ghost, it is a business. It runs on motorcycles, fuel, and smuggled weapons. These supplies cross many borders. The AES knows that to kill the snake, you have to starve it. They are now working to cooperate with other neighbors who are also tired of the chaos. This is a regional fight for the very soul of the continent. The goal is to create a security shield that stretches across the heart of Africa. They are looking to replicate the success where they turned the border zones from safe havens for terrorists into killing fields for the state. They are moving beyond improvisation and into a pre-planned professional operation. There is also a deep moral side to this story. For the people of the diaspora and the children of Africa, this is a moment of profound pride. For decades, the narrative was that Africa couldn't handle its own security. The world said we needed blue helmets and foreign advisors. The AES is proving that narrative wrong. They are showing that three poor countries can build a unified military faster and more effective than the billion-dollar international coalition ever did. This is a black history in the making. It is the story of self-reliance. It is the story of three brothers standing back to back in a storm, refusing to blink. They are asserting total regional sovereignty, proving that the African lion can roar without a script from abroad. We must also be honest about the cost. The human rights groups are raising red flags. They claim that the death toll has risen as the fighting gets more intense. It is a messy, brutal war, but from the perspective of Bamako, Niamey, and Ouagadougou, the repressive labels coming from the West are just noisy. They see it as a fight for existence. They believe that a state of war is better than a state of colonial slavery. The AES leaders are aligning their politics and their military movements with a precision that the Sahel has never seen. They are closing the constitutional gaps and hardening the state to survive a global siege. They are not just fighting, they are building a new type of African statehood. As the 10,000 new troops join the front lines, the message to the silent architects of the war is clear. The trap is closing. The rebels who thought they could hide in the desert are finding that the desert now belongs to the AES. The foreign powers who thought they could dictate terms are finding that the phone is off the hook. This one big move is more than just a military strike. It is an eviction notice for every foreign entity that strived on African instability. The Sahel is no longer a playground, it is a fortress. They have mobilized to ensure that the sanctuaries of the past are gone forever. The question for the rest of the world is simple. Will you stand with a sovereign Africa, or will you continue to support the shadow economy of chaos? The AES has already made its choice. They have chosen the gold, and the goal to total independence. As the convoys of tankers and troops roll out of the capital cities, the future of the Sahel is being written in the sand. It is a future where the borders are gone, the traitors are caught, and the people finally breathe the air of true freedom. The lion of the Sahel is no longer sleeping, he is hunting, and he is not alone. The mobilization of these 15,000 troops is final signature on a declaration of war against anyone who tries to stop the rise of a new Africa. Thank you for watching the Global Observer.